Harper Audio presents How the States Got Their Shapes by Mark Stein, read by Brian Holsopple. Introduction. To teach us the boundaries of the states, my 7th grade geography teacher would hold up cutouts, and we would raise our hands, vying for the chance to identify which state had the corresponding shape. How we distinguished Wyoming from Colorado, both rectangles, eludes me these many years later. Maybe she just didn't include them. After all, how much value is there in knowing which rectangle is Wyoming and which is Colorado? Later in life, I came to realize that there is value in learning about the borders of Colorado and Wyoming, but that value resides not in knowing what their shape is, but in knowing why it is. Why, for example, are the straight lines that define Wyoming located where they are, and not, say, 10 miles farther north or west? Far more knowledge results from exploring why a set of conditions exists than from simply accepting those conditions and committing them to memory. Asking why a state has the borders it does unlocks a history of human struggles, far more history than this book can contain, though this book does aspire to unearth the keys. Consider for a moment the cluster of states composed of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Why don't those states extend to their natural boundaries, the St. Lawrence River and the Atlantic Ocean? How come Canada got that land? Why does Delaware have a semicircle for its northern border? What's at its center, and why was it encircled? Why does Texas have that square part poking up? And why does the square part just miss connecting with Kansas, leaving that little Oklahoma panhandle in between? The more one looks at state borders, the more questions those borders generate. Why do the Carolinas and Dakotas have a North State and a South State? Couldn't they get along? Why is there a West Virginia but not an East Virginia? And why does Michigan have a chunk of land that's so obviously part of Wisconsin? It's not even connected to the rest of Michigan. This book will provide those answers. State by state, along with the District of Columbia, the events that resulted in the location of each state's present borders will be identified. A state border is both an official entrance and a hidden entrance. The official entrance is the legal threshold to a state, but its hidden entrance beckons us to the past. Here at the state line, we can come in contact with struggles long forgotten and now overgrown by signs saying things like, "Welcome to Kansas. Please drive carefully." Don't skip this. You'll just have to come back later. Many of our state borders are segments of borders that date from England's and later the United States territorial acquisitions, and they can be identified by looking for lines that provide multi-state borders. The French and Indian War border. The French and Indian War, 1754 through 63, resulted in the oldest of these multi-state boundaries. In this war, England and her American colonists began what became the dismantling of France's possessions in North America. With this victory, England added to her North American possessions all the land between the Ohio River and the Mississippi River. The boundaries of that war are still on the map today, for they provide borders for the states of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. The division of this land acquired in the French and Indian War influenced virtually every state border that followed. After the Revolution, Congress had to decide how best to divide this region, known as the Northwest Territory, into states. Congress assigned Thomas Jefferson the task of studying this matter, and in 1784, Jefferson issued a report to Congress in which he proposed that the region be divided into states having 2 degrees of height and 4 degrees of width, wherever possible. As it turned out, Congress didn't employ these borders when it enacted the Northwest Ordinance in 1787, the law that included the boundary lines for the future states to be created from the Northwest Territory. Congress did, however, adopt its underlying principle: all states should be created equal. The Louisiana Purchase borders. Probably the most notable American boundary is the long, straight line that defines
Sample complete. Ready to continue?